I think the last cycle was truncated by the Chinese miners and the FTX, some other issues, FTX. So I think this cycle will go higher. I think it'll be 200 easily. I mean, I know Kaiser says 230 is in play. That sounds about right to me. But it could be 400 or 500. I mean, I know a lot of smart people, a lot of models show that could be a million. I also think wherever it goes on this cycle, I think we're done with 90% down, 80% down, 70% down, probably 60% down. I could maybe see a 50% or 40% down.
The cryptocurrency market has experienced quite a bit of turbulence over the past week, and most crypto assets are now down to multi-week lows. Yet, prominent personalities in the space are highly optimistic about higher price gains as we get deeper into the bull market. According to experts like Real Vision CEO Raoul and renowned investment manager and sound money advocate Lawrence Lepard, the market is just taking a brief breather, a typical bull market consolidation, before prices take off sharply again. While Raoul and Larry are not certain about the timing of these impending price increases, they are certain that the moment is nearly upon us. In a recent thread shared on social media platform X, Real Vision CEO Raoul writes about what he describes as the banana zone, a bull market phase characterized by heightened market activity and potential for exponential price increases. Pal predicts this much-awaited phase will begin shortly and continue well into 2025. In a recent interview with Blockware, Lepard also shared his expectations for Bitcoin before the bull market ends in 2025. His prediction is that Bitcoin will hit at least $200,000 at the top of the cycle. Lepard, however, believes Bitcoin prices could go much higher and might even hit $1 million before the cycle ends. As we bring you clips from Lepard's interview and Pal's highly insightful tweets, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can join the conversation by leaving comments and price predictions for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
I'm with Saylor. It's going up forever, Luke. On what time schedule and what, model, who knows? As you know, it's an unpredictable beast. I do believe we are going to have hyper-Bitcoinization. I strongly believe that. I don't know the time frame. Nobody does. I think it's at least 7 or 8 years out, but I could be wrong. I mean, things that have altered my view a little bit, I'll give you one, was the failure of Silicon Valley Bank, and what I call an electrical or digital bank run. In one day, Silicon Valley Bank had roughly $100 billion of deposits. And as we all know, they sold some bonds. The bonds were, way below the value they had carried them at. Some smart people did the math and said, oh, wow, there's a $20 billion hole in this balance sheet. This bank is bankrupt. That word or that knowledge spread like wildfire through the venture capital community in California. And within 2 days, they were gone. But somebody withdrew $45 billion worth of their deposits in one day. So this is new. This is a digital bank run. This did not exist before. This is not George Bailey, standing in the teller's window giving out a couple of dollars to people who are doing a bank run. This is the real deal. And so the point I'm making is that social contagion and the way the internet works, the way all the social media works, the way word spreads, things can happen really quickly. When something becomes obvious to a large mass of people. So in that case, what became obvious to a large mass of people was that this bank was clearly bankrupt and that you had to protect yourself and get your money out of it. So the logical follow-on question is, when does it become obvious to a large mass of people, if not everyone or close to everyone, that the US dollar has no value? That the government which operates it and controls it, runs it, is so criminally, misguided and out of control that there's no way back. And once that happens, it's all over. That's Weimar 23. We're not there yet. I don't think we could be there anytime soon, as measured in a couple of years. 5 to 10 years, I don't know. It'll depend upon how they play it. Right? I mean, it'll depend a lot upon how irresponsible they are. Because the number of people, I mean, think about in the Silicon Valley instance, a certain number, a tipping point in terms of number of people had to become aware of what the problem was. And that's exactly what we're looking at here. A tipping point in terms of the number of people in the world need to become aware that fiat is truly fiat and that it will be abused forever on an increasing scale, and, I would say geometrically, right? And so as that happens, what's the price of Bitcoin as a replacement for fiat? It's infinite in fiat terms. So we'll be measuring things in Bitcoin terms. That car cost a tenth of a Bitcoin. That house cost half a Bitcoin, whatever it might be. So it'll be a different world, that's for sure. Full confession, right? I've been thinking this was imminent. I mean, I was telling my friends this was imminent 20 years ago, right? So, take everything I say with a grain of salt. However, I like Preston's analogy where he says it's, okay, so a woman is pregnant and she starts to feel some contractions. All right, well, whatever, maybe the baby's coming. Well, they get more common, they get more intense, they get quicker. And I think there's a pattern here that we can see of that.
Lepard is a sound money advocate and a gold stock fund manager. For decades, well before the creation of Bitcoin, he has been following the gradual, then over the past few years, the not-so-gradual decline of fiat currencies and the global monetary system. His Twitter account features several tweets and retweets that show just how far gone the system is, especially in the United States, the purported global superpower and issuer of the world's reserve currency. One of his latest retweets is a post from a widely followed Twitter account with the handle Game of Trades. The tweet reads, "This is shocking. Treasury bond issuance in 2024 is expected to hit $1.9 trillion, surpassing levels seen even during the 2008 financial crisis." According to a WSJ piece from last month, the situation in the US Treasury market is beginning to make Wall Street very nervous. The national debt has grown so massive that the Treasury has to be on a constant borrowing spree to meet up with the debt expenses and deficit. Yet, experts believe the situation can only worsen from here, regardless of the outcome of the November elections. A section of the WSJ article reads, "The world's largest, most important financial market is growing by leaps and bounds. On Wall Street, that is making people nervous. Annual issuance of US Treasuries has exploded, nearly doubling since the pandemic began. The government sold a record $23 trillion worth in 2023, and few think the spree is going to slow soon. The Treasury market has grown more than 60% to $27 trillion since the end of 2019. It is roughly sixfold larger than before the Great Financial Crisis." As Lepard stated in his interview, the pattern is stronger than ever, and we are drawing precariously close to the brink of disaster. Let's get back to the interview.
Back to your timing issue, we're going to have some more contractions, but with each one will become more, more monetary accommodation, more people aware of the inflation problem, more people aware of the fact that you solve the inflation problem by buying something the government can't print. And once people start to see that everyone who's doing that is doing very well, and everyone who's not doing that isn't doing well at all, they're going to, I think, shove the dollar into the waste can. It'll be gone, and we'll be transacting in Satoshis, is what I envision. And it could be over by 2028 or 2029 or 2030. I mean, we just don't know. I mean, it's, there's a great, Dan Oliver has a great chart, a Murmichan chart, and Luke has reposted it yesterday, so you can go see it, the swings of the Deutschmark against gold and the 23 hyperinflation. That thing, that mark was worthless in 1923. But the big swing started in kind of 1919 or 1920.
Yeah, it was only like 4 or 5 years once it really got going.
Exactly. That's my point. Now they tried really hard. I mean, they had, war debt to repay, and they didn't have anything sound to pay it with, and so on and so forth. And they really tried hard. They ran the printing presses 100%. So I don't think this is a perfect analog to that, but I do think it'll rhyme.
Yeah.
And it feels to me like the end of this decade.
Yeah.
It might be the time when it's all done. And between here and there, I mean, what do we got? We've got probably Bitcoin 100,000. Hell, that could be next month. We've got Bitcoin 1 million. I mean, if you believe Samson, that could be, in a year or two or less. I mean, I don't know. That's the tough one for me. I don't know what this Bitcoin slope is going to look like. I don't know how far this ramp is going to go. we were talking about it at dinner last night with Preston and Jeff Booth last night. We were all trying to kind of guess what was going to happen at this thing. It's very hard to know. I mean, I think the last cycle was truncated by the Chinese miners and the FTX, some other issues, FTX. So I think this cycle will go higher. I think it'll be 200 easily. I mean, I know Kaiser says 230 is in play. That sounds about right to me. But it could be 400 or 500. I mean, I know a lot of smart people, a lot of models show that could be a million on this cycle. I just don't know. I also think wherever it goes on this cycle, I think we're done with 90% down, 80% down, 70% down, probably 60% down. I could maybe see a 50% or 40% down. Maybe not. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, the difficulty is that we're getting onto the steep part of the curve, and so the corrections are going to be a lot shallower. If we had a God candle that took us to 500,000, like let's say, I mean, we can't even imagine this, but like let's say we had let's say we ramped to 500,000 sometime within the next 3 months. Okay, I mean, way above the base. Could you have a 60% drawdown off of that? Abso-friggin-lutely. I mean, there's just no doubt. I mean, but absent that, I think that, you can, I mean, the 200-day moving average will be a meaningful data point, and it will, having that big a drawdown is going to require having a ramp that gets, way, way, way above, the 200-day moving average. So, so to that point, you're getting more and more supply, or more and more demand coming from more and more bigger buckets. And you've got sovereign wealth funds. I was at Dubai at the conference there, and there were a lot of Arab wealth managers sitting there quietly listening very intently about Bitcoin. And those guys don't buy $1 million. They buy tens and hundreds and arguably billions of dollars of something. And there's just not enough of it to go around.
As stated earlier in the video, Real Vision founder and CEO Raoul recently posted a thread on Twitter about the current situation in the cryptocurrency market and what to expect going forward. According to Pal, this is the pause that refreshes, the brief consolidation that comes just before everything goes absolutely bananas. He notes that once the markets are fully refreshed, we go straight into the banana zone, picking up to full mania towards the latter part of the year and well into 2025. That is the trademark of crypto summer and fall, Pal writes. Think of this pause as the last days of spring. Crypto summer is usually the start of alt season, which goes full bubble static in fall. In another tweet, Pal notes that this banana zone is the period Ethereum will outperform Bitcoin, Solana will accelerate its outperformance of both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and a new big L1 or L2 altcoin will explode versus Solana. The rest of the posts read, Crypto summer and fall will be confusing because everything will have a narrative and will get caught up in euphoria. This is when memes really get silly in price. Unproven narratives like AI and RWA go to dumb valuations, etc. We will also see another 2 or so nasty corrections due to excess leverage. The banana zone cometh. Be patient, and please don't this up. Do you think we are going into the banana zone, which, if it happens at the same pace as previous cycles, will see Bitcoin hit at least $200,000 per coin? Or do you think these predictions are a little too optimistic? Please share your comments and observations in the comment section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.